The one is not the only. Let's talk about Thor, Love and Thunder, as this is the fourth film in the MCU that continues in Phase 4, as Taika Waititi comes back to direct this. And with this film, it was one that got a lot of mixed reactions. Some call it the worst Thor film, but I cannot lie, I actually enjoyed this. As the cast in this, I thought they did great for the most part, and let's be real, they were hilarious. We do get Chris Hemsworth back as Thor, mighty as ever, godlike as ever, bigger arms than ever. He came back in this looking super ripped, super shredded, after looking like melted ice cream in Endgame. Thor got back in shape, mightier as ever, and this was such a great story revolving around him, as we do see him with the Guardians of the Galaxy for a bit. I thought that they did great with him in this. But we do get Natalie Portman coming back as Jane Foster, who becomes the mighty Thor, and what they did with her character in this was brilliant, as it does explore her character very well, as there are some themes revolving around her character that was explored pretty well too. It was great to see more of Jane and Thor back together in this, as I got to say Taika Waititi did the best when it came to writing their relationship. Because they're kind of in an awkward phase now. They haven't seen each other in years, they've been broken up, but yet that spark is still there. I really like Natalie Portman in the role as the mighty Thor. But we do see Kristen Bell be the antagonist Gore in this, Gore the God Butcher, looking much different than in the comics, but yeah, I guess it makes sense. And he was great. I would have never expected Kristen Bell in a Thor film or an MCU film, but he did not disappoint. I do wish there probably could have been more to the character, but it's whatever. But we also do have Tessa Thompson back as Valkyrie, being King Valkyrie, seeing her be in charge of Asgard, and that was done pretty brilliantly. As we have the director, Taika Waititi himself, back as Korg. And I can't lie, it was fun to get more Korg. People loved him in Ragnarok, so they gave us more of him in this film, and people seemed to complain about it. I thought it was still fun. But also with this, we do get Jamie Alexander back as Lady Sif, and it was great to see her back, even if it was a small role. But seeing the Guardians of the Galaxy back in this was also pretty entertaining. Once again, small role, but yet it worked, and it was fun. Even seeing Russell Crowe as Zeus, it was fun, it was funny, and it worked for the most part. The cast in this, I thought they did great for the most part. They did good with what they were given. And with how this film is, it does have more humor compared to Thor Ragnarok. But at the same time, it does have its serious moments in it, but just mostly humor. And I do think that it is because since people love the humor in Thor Ragnarok, they thought, oh, we should get more of it in this film. And that's probably where it seemed to cross the line for some people. Like, it doesn't really balance out the serious moments with the humor. But yet, for me, I thought it was still a pretty fun movie. Because the action scenes in this was great. There was like this whole scene that takes place, I think it's called the Shadow Realm, with Gore and Thor and all of them fighting. That was honestly the best scene in the film. It was brilliant. It was all black and white, and it was just epic to watch. But I do think that it was said straight up by Taika that he wanted to make this like a romantic comedy between Thor and Jane. And it does have those moments too, because there are times where it felt like a rom-com. But at the same time, it was an action adventure. And I thought that it worked. But of course, this film does have flaws. I am going to say this straight up, I do prefer this more than the first two Thor films. But this was a film I do think could have benefited from being longer, having more to these characters, and at the same time seeing some alternate scenes that were deleted. I don't think those should have been deleted at all, especially with Russell Crowe's Zeus. And there are scenes where the special effects don't really look the best. But with how Thor Love and Thunder is, I have to admit, this was a blast to watch. I had a lot of fun watching this film. Like, sure, it is not perfect, but yet it is still a pretty fun movie. I liked what they did with Thor, I liked what they did with the mighty Thor, and I just like getting more of these characters. But overall, with Thor Love and Thunder, it was a fun movie. It's not perfect, I do understand the criticism for it, but for me, I had a blast with it. But have you seen Thor Love and Thunder? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below and follow me for more.